there's a difference between being open and being careless with your words. A real man knows that the things he says have power. His words can build or they can destroy. His words can strengthen a relationship or they can tear it apart. And that's why there are things no real man should ever tell a woman. Not because he's hiding something, but because he values her, the connection, and his own integrity. First, a real man never brags about his wealth or complains about his struggles with money. He understands that his value isn't in the numbers in his bank account, but in the way he carries himself, in how he treats the people around him, and in the empire he's building, not the one he talks about building. He never overshares his deepest insecurities. Yes, vulnerability is important, but there's a difference between opening up and dumping emotional baggage. A woman wants a partner, not a project. She wants to see strength, not someone constantly questioning their own worth. A real man never compares her to another woman. She is not a replacement. She is not in a competition. She is not a second choice. If she's with you, she deserves to feel like she's the only one in the room. Because the moment you start measuring her against someone else, you tell her she's not enough. And if you can't see her worth, don't be surprised when she finds someone who does. Talking about past relationships in unnecessary detail, that's a mistake. No woman needs a highlight reel of your exes. She doesn't need to hear about what they did better, what they did worse, or why things ended. Your past belongs in the past. Your future is standing in front of you. Treat her like it. And here's one of the biggest mistakes a man can make: talking down on the people she loves. Whether it's her family, her friends, or even that one annoying coworker she keeps venting about, you don't have to like them, but you do have to respect them, because if she loves them, they are part of her world. And if you disrespect them, you disrespect her. A real man doesn't expose every weakness he has. That doesn't mean he pretends to be invincible. It means he understands that leadership in a relationship isn't about dumping fears and insecurities onto his partner. It's about handling them with grace, with action, and with responsibility. Strength isn't about never falling. It's about always rising. And if there's one thing no man should ever say, it's, "I don't need you." Because the truth is, we all need someone. Independence is admirable, but making her feel like she's disposable, that's a mistake you don't come back from. Real men don't push people away to prove they're strong. Real men build, protect, and grow together. Finally, never talk about leaving before you've even fought to stay. Threatening to walk away when things get tough isn't strength, it's weakness. A real man faces challenges. A real man commits. A real man doesn't have an exit plan. He has a plan to make things work. So gentlemen, speak with wisdom, lead with strength, love with loyalty, and never let your words become the reason you lose someone who was ready to stand beside you for life. Your income and wealth in detail. A real man doesn't boast or complain about his financial status. He lets his actions speak. Expend this without headings and don't add ending remarks. ChatGPT said a real man understands that his worth is not measured by the numbers in his bank account, but by the way he carries himself. He doesn't feel the need to constantly talk about how much money he makes, what car he drives, or the expensive things he owns. He lets his actions, his discipline, and his work ethic speak louder than any words ever could. When a man boasts about his wealth, it often comes from insecurity rather than confidence. He seeks validation through material possessions instead of through the value he brings to the people around him. A truly confident man doesn't need to tell the world what he has. He simply lives in a way that commands respect. People see his success in the way he moves, in the opportunities he creates, and in the way he provides, without ever needing to make a spectacle of it. On the other hand, a man who constantly complains about his financial struggles only projects instability and weakness. Everyone faces challenges, but a man who is always focused on what he lacks instead of what he's working toward will push people away. Women respect ambition, not excuses. They admire a man who acknowledges his circumstances but refuses to be defined by them. Money comes and goes, but a man's mindset is what truly matters. A man who knows how to manage his resources, build his future, and remain composed, whether he has millions or is just starting out, is far more valuable than one who needs to prove his worth with price tags. It's not about hiding success or pretending struggles don't exist. It's about knowing when to speak and when to let results do the talking. You said also too, indeed, ChatGPT said, a real man understands the power of confidence, but he also knows that not every thought or fear needs to be spoken aloud. Everyone has insecurities. It's human nature. But the difference between a strong man and a weak one is how he handles them. A man who constantly shares his deepest insecurities with a woman seeking validation or reassurance risks creating doubt rather than connection. Women respect vulnerability, but there is a fine line between opening up and appearing emotionally unstable. A man who is too quick to expose every fear, every self-doubt, and every moment of uncertainty sends a message that he is unsure of himself. And if he doesn't believe in himself, why should anyone else? Confidence isn't about never feeling insecure. It's about how you choose to deal with those insecurities. She wants to feel safe with her man, to know that he is solid even when life isn't. If he constantly talks about his fears, his worries about not being good enough, not being successful enough, or not being able to provide, he risks making her feel like she has to carry the emotional weight of both of them. A relationship should be a partnership, not a place where one person leans so heavily on the other that it creates imbalance. That doesn't mean a man should suppress his emotions or pretend he's invincible, but there is strength in knowing when to express vulnerability and when to work through it on your own. A man who masters his insecurities instead of being controlled by them commands respect. He builds trust by being steady, by handling his struggles with quiet determination, and by showing, not just saying, that he is more than his doubts. A real man never compares the woman he's with to another. Nothing destroys trust, confidence, and connection faster than making a woman feel like she is being measured against someone else. Whether it's an ex, a celebrity, or even a random woman on the street, comparisons create insecurities that never needed to exist in the first place. No woman wants to feel like she is in competition for your attention or approval. She doesn't need to hear about how your ex used to cook a certain way, how another woman dresses better, or how someone else has a different personality that you admire. Even if the words are unintentional, the message is clear. She is not enough. And when a woman starts to feel like she is not enough, she either starts doubting herself, or worse, she starts doubting you. Respect is about making the person you are with feel valued, seen, and appreciated for who she is, not who she reminds you of. A strong man understands that love isn't about comparison. It's about presence. It's about making her feel like she is the only one in the room, the only one that matters. The moment a man starts speaking about other women in a way that makes his partner feel like she is second best, he is slowly destroying something that could have been unbreakable. Attraction, admiration, and even memories from the past are normal, but they are thoughts best kept to yourself. A real man doesn't use words that make a woman question her worth. He lifts her up, reminds her why she is special, and never gives her a reason to feel like she has to prove her value. A real man knows that the past should stay in the past. No woman needs to hear unnecessary details about your exes, your past flings, or the things you used to do with someone else. Talking too much about past relationships only opens the door to insecurities, jealousy, and comparisons that serve no purpose in the present. It doesn't matter if your ex was amazing or if she was the worst mistake of your life. Bringing her up too often can create doubts in your current relationship. If you speak too highly of a past partner, the woman you're with may wonder if she will ever measure up. If you constantly talk about how terrible your ex was, she may start to question your ability to move on, or wonder what you might say about her if things don't work out. Either way, the focus shifts from the relationship you're building now to one that no longer exists. Women don't want to feel like they are walking in another woman's shadow. They don't want to be reminded of what you used to have, what you used to feel, or what you used to do with someone else. They want to create their own memories with you, to build something new and meaningful without the ghosts of your past lingering in the background. A confident man doesn't dwell on the relationships that didn't work out. He learns from them, grows from them, and moves forward. He doesn't need to prove anything by constantly talking about who he used to be with, because the only thing that truly matters is who he is with now. A real man understands that respect extends beyond his relationship. It includes the people she loves, no matter how he feels about her family, friends, or even that one person she always complains about. He knows that speaking negatively about them is a dangerous line to cross. A woman's connections are part of her identity. Her family helps shape who she is, and her friends have been there for her in ways you may never fully understand. Criticizing them, insulting them, or making her feel like she has to choose between you and them will only create distance. Even if she has her own frustrations with certain people, she doesn't need to hear those frustrations coming from you. That doesn't mean you have to agree with everything or pretend to like someone you don't. But there's a difference between having an opinion and being disrespectful. If you truly care about her, you'll find ways to communicate your feelings without attacking the people she holds dear. If someone in her life is a bad influence, a real man approaches the conversation with wisdom and patience, not insults and ultimatums. Women respect men who can handle uncomfortable situations with maturity. A man who constantly complains about her family or disrespects her friends is only pushing her away. She may not say it right away, but every negative comment plants a seed of doubt. She starts to wonder if you truly respect her, because if you did, you would respect the people who matter to her. A real man builds a connection by showing understanding, even when it's difficult. He knows that the way he speaks about the people in her life is a reflection of how he truly feels about her. A real man understands that strength isn't about exposing every weakness he has. It's about how he handles them. Life will always bring challenges, doubts, and struggles, but a man who constantly talks about his every fear, every failure, and every uncertainty risks creating more problems than solutions. Women respect a man who can be vulnerable, but they also need to feel safe with him. If he is always expressing his doubts, whether about his future, his abilities, or even the relationship itself, he creates instability. She starts to wonder if she can truly rely on him, if he's strong enough to handle the weight of life, or if she will have to carry it all on her own. That doesn't mean a man should pretend to be emotionless. It doesn't mean he should bottle everything up and never speak about his struggles. But there is a difference between sharing and oversharing, between being open and being emotionally dependent. A real man knows when to talk, when to listen, and when to simply take action. Strength is not about never feeling weak. It's about how you respond to it. A man who acknowledges his struggles but works through them with resilience earns respect. A man who constantly seeks reassurance and validation for every problem he faces risks becoming a burden instead of a leader. A woman wants a partner, not someone she has to emotionally rescue. She wants to know that when life gets hard, the man beside her won't crumble. A real man faces his weaknesses with courage, deals with his struggles with quiet determination, and builds confidence through his actions, not just his words. A real man never makes a woman feel like she is replaceable. Independence is important, confidence is attractive, but making her feel like she doesn't matter is a mistake that pushes even the most loyal woman away. Saying things like, "I don't need you," or constantly reminding her that you could be fine without her doesn't make you strong. It makes you careless. Every woman wants to feel valued. She wants to know that she plays a meaningful role in your life, that her presence adds something real. If you make her feel like she is just an option, like you could take her or leave her, she will eventually believe you. And when she does, she won't beg, she won't fight. She will simply walk away and find someone who actually sees her worth. Being independent doesn't mean acting like you don't care. A real man can be strong on his own, but he also understands the power of connection. He knows that loving someone isn't weakness, it's a choice, a commitment, a bond that should never be taken for granted. Women respect men who are sure of themselves, but they also respect men who can appreciate a good woman when they have one. If you constantly act like she's unnecessary in your life, don't be surprised when she gives you exactly what you claim to want. Her absences. A real man never talks about leaving before he has even fought to stay. Relationships have challenges, and love isn't always easy, but the moment a man starts saying things like, "If this doesn't work, I'm out," or "I can leave anytime," he is already planting the seeds of doubt and insecurity. A woman needs to feel secure in a relationship, and when a man makes her question whether he's truly committed, he slowly weakens the foundation they are trying to build. No woman wants to invest her time, energy, and emotions in someone who has one foot out the door. Threatening to leave, whether out of frustration, manipulation, or fear, is not a sign of strength. It's an escape route, a way of avoiding responsibility instead of stepping up and facing problems head on. A real man doesn't look for an exit every time things get tough. He looks for solutions. He communicates, he works through difficulties, and he proves that his commitment isn't just for the good times, but for all time. Even in moments of frustration, a man must be mindful of the words he speaks. Saying things like, "Maybe we should just break up," or "I don't know if this is worth it," might be said in the heat of the moment, but words have power. They create uncertainty, they damage trust, and they make a woman start questioning if she's fighting for something that isn't meant to last. A strong man doesn't run. He doesn't keep a backup plan for when things get hard. He stands firm, proves his loyalty, and shows that when he chooses a woman, he chooses her completely, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's not. At the end of the day, a real man understands that his words carry weight. What he chooses to say or not say can build trust or break it. Strengthen love or weaken it. Respect, confidence, and emotional intelligence are what set him apart. A man who knows when to speak and when to remain silent is a man who commands respect. He doesn't overshare his insecurities, compare the woman he loves to others, or make her feel like she's just an option. He doesn't let his past dictate his present. Nor does he threaten to leave when things get tough. Instead, he stands firm, speaks with wisdom, and shows through his actions that he is a man of value. Because at the core of it all, being a real man isn't about proving anything to the world. It's about being someone who can be trusted, respected, and loved deeply. And that kind of man doesn't just keep a woman, he inspires her to stay.